L's, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso.
Good morning. How are we doing? What you remember the most sometimes when you have come back to running after a period of time off is how good you felt when things were going really well. And we really take it for granted in terms of not being sometimes in that moment of appreciating how well your body is doing, how well it moves, how easy running can feel. Sometimes how seamless it can be just to get out the door and just go and log what can be a pretty tough run on paper, but sometimes you just knock them back day in, day out, day in, day out. And for me, when you come back after a period of time, I always reminisce and think about that period when like things are going super well and like it's just like, how can it be so tough now? But with anything, with fitness, it comes back if you just commit to it and also have that consistency and just keep doing it and not having too much pressure and expectation on the actual runs. I'm gonna have this breakfast, log in for the day, and then we're going to head out for the run later. Run and strides done. I did 8.44 miles at 7:57 average pace with 4 strides in the middle of the run. So let's digest the last 3 weeks of Boston Marathon training and let's get stuck into the training log. And as you've seen from the title of this video, does more mileage make you faster? There's a couple of ways of looking at that before we get stuck into where my particular training is. And from my experience, as I've sort of looked back on sort of year growth from starting running, also let's just say since taking it a little bit more seriously, I can honestly say that by adding more mileage into my training and for my body, it has increased my performance in terms of being able to run faster, simply because you are more likely to develop your aerobic capacity more than when you're not running as much miles. So in terms of that, you need to find the sweet spot for you, your sweet spot in terms of building, and also then factoring how fatigue factors into your training, how it affects your body. Are you able to maintain the consistency of pushing out high mileage weeks? High mileage is different for every single person. If you're running up to 60 to 70 miles a week, again, that's quite high, but you can sometimes realize what the potential might be when you've got a wide range of miles that you're running in that particular week. Hence why it's so easy when certain people say you run your easy miles easy. If you're running such high mileage, you cannot sustain running all those miles at that super fast sort of tempo effort. That's why you often hear people hearing of the 80-20 split. 80% of your mileage per week is at easy, 20% is at a sustained effort, interval / marathon pace or tempo work. So just a food for thought in terms of where you might be when you structure your training, when you're looking at your training log. Let's just wind back for the last couple of weeks, and what you're going to see on your screen are a variety of different colors. So I do a mobility routine every single morning, which is just like 15 minutes of just moving my body around before I go for a run. Most likely you'll never see these on Strava. I keep these private simply because I just don't want to clog up your feed on Strava. So The week of Christmas was the first week I was able to get back into training after being ill. I was able just to work on just going for aerobic runs, nothing crazy, just getting myself out there. My heart rate was through the roof. I ended up being able to run for 6 times that week, which is my normal amount, which I'm able to sustain. And again, just getting back into a routine of being able to run again. So again, starting off relatively easy at 10k on the Tuesdays, and most of my weeks are split up of doing 1 to 2 or 3 hour runs at easy pace, a tempo session, an interval session, and a long run. Within that, I've been trying since the turn of the year to do 2 gym sessions a week. I just found recently it's really helping with my tendons, it's helping with my ligaments, it's helping with the way I hit the ground, my cadence, and just having that pop with doing some plyometric work in the gym. So I'm really trying hard to hit 2 gym sessions a week, and I'm going to try and do that for the rest of this block. But in terms of the rest of it, I do try to get a yoga session in per week, just something that I find off YouTube. But again, that week was pretty easy. I did do a session on the 23rd of December, which it was pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was very tough in terms of what I felt. And again, it was just something completely like a shock to the system. But again, I was working fairly hard, just doing 10 minutes at tempo and 5 minutes. So very simple sessions when you come back into training after such a while, which you can do. And again, some easy 30s, and then again, very easy running, progression run to finish the week in a 10 miler. So I'm always able to run about 10 miles or so. I think that's fairly fine. And then moving into the new year, again, starting off with those 2 sessions per week in the gym, very easy 10k. I did a fartlek workout of 14 times a minute. This was probably my first real introduction back into training, back at speed work. My rib has still been an issue since the middle of December, just basically because of coughing too much. I pulled the intercostal muscle in my rib, so when I was breathing quite deeply, it would literally just create such a pain point. In terms of how it's felt, breathing pretty deeply has felt pretty uncomfortable. It's only since this week it's probably made a huge difference. Adding in some strides, adding in a recovery jog, running on the new year, which I did 3 times a mile because I couldn't make it to parkrun. Again, so just trying to get that feeling back in my legs. Speed has felt hard for me to get back into. I lose fitness really quickly, but I also regain it pretty quickly after the first week to 2 weeks of work. It can be pretty taxing. My heart rate is through the roof. My aerobic capacity seems low. My VO2 max on my watch has gone down. My watch is telling me I'm unproductive, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. But I know my body isn't at where it needs to be. We've got kind of work. It's again like falling down the stairs. Can't get to the top step or the middle step without going on the first 2, 3, 4 steps to get to that point. It's the same thing with running. Always think of that. Where you're meant to be, you can't always be at that level unless you've been able to sustain it. So again, on that weekend, on to hitting a 20k nice long run. So again, re-getting that distance back in the legs, re-getting that time on feet, and feeling a little bit more like my old self. So this is then moving into, again, I did a track session of 16 times 300 meters of 60 seconds, which was really good form, felt great. Working in another hour run along with a gym session, another easy 60, and then 4 times 2k tempo of 3 minutes. So first tempo session after 3 weeks into the training block, which is something which I enjoy doing. I love tempo work. It does make me work really hard. And then moving into a recovery on the weekend, and then a nice long run, which was pretty steady. So working at that easy pace. So my easy pace is probably around 8-minute miling. It can be 8:30, whatever I'm feeling, and then I can push that to steady up around 7-minute miling, under 7 just to be on the quicker side. And then this is moving into last week. So this is the last week that I've done. So hitting 50-60 miles, a ladder workout on the intervals. So 2 times 4 minutes, 2 times 3 minutes, 2 times 2 minutes, 2 times 1 minute, 2 times 30 seconds. And you can see from the Strava title, fitness is coming back. So as you see from week 1, week 2, week 3, slowly feeling better. I'm able to share I'm feeling better. I try to be as open and honest as all the time in my Strava and my Instagram, but you do sometimes feel better from running quicker, doing more mileage, building it back up, because I wasn't feeling like this in the first week, not at all. Again, the next day, another 60 minutes, an hour run with a strength session. And then on the Thursday, 8 times 1 kilometer of 2 minutes, which is quite a tough session. I was aiming for something around 3:30 to 3:36 for my kilometer reps. and I was happy to average 3:31, so a really good session back in the tank, just feeling like my old self. Like, I probably sound like a broken record, but you have to keep doing it. You have to keep doing this. Literally no shortcuts. I say this all the time. You simply cannot sustain running well, running quick, if you don't do it. The way to run quicker is to run quicker. With all the other mileage that you add into the equation, it's one of the ways you can become quicker. Again, with another hour, and then following on from last Saturday, it was probably one of the best sessions I've done recently. It was a 20-minute tempo of 2 minutes, and then 4 times 4 minutes off 90 seconds. Again, I was super happy with the tempo work. 6-minute miling average for the 20 minutes, essentially a park run. And then for the 4 times 4, they were all faster than my tempo work. So again, another idea for a session when you're sort of ramping your way back into training. And then again, I went with Laura on her long run on the weekend, so super easy. Very, very nice to hit 60 miles for the week. So that's my training log. That is where we are. I'd say I'm around week 3 for Boston, and where we are at the moment, building quite nicely. We're still in the middle of January, so we've still got plenty of time. Got a few races coming up, hopefully doing a 10K, the Cancer Research Winter 10K in February, and then a couple of other tune-up races until then. So let me know if you're training for any spring marathons down below. Do consider giving this video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.